Tell you what, man, Tony Khan, he's got some big balls, bro. This guy's coming to New York City at the end of June, and he's giving us Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay for the AEW World Title. It's one hell of a main event. It's a main event that could main event any show in any promotion in any part of the world. But a lot of people are asking, why so soon? I have no idea, man. I got a lot of questions, though. I guess that's a good thing. Maybe he looks at it as it being a good thing. The more questions we ask, the more interest people will have in the match. Maybe. Anyway, we are going to talk about it right here tonight on OTS. Also, Mercedes Moné. We found out who the attacker was. In typical AEW fashion, it meant nothing. But Mercedes also has her opponent. And she is walking through the forbidden door. And that's something I'm very excited about. I'm flying solo tonight. No Chi-Town Smark on tonight's show. You may think that's a good thing. I don't know who's serving the drinks, but we're going to be handling business tonight. We're going to the OTS Beer Garden. We're going to have a kick-ass show like we usually do. And when I get there on this Wednesday night, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you guys over there. Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking. Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your AEW Dynamite post show for May 29th, 2024. I am your host, JD from New York, as always, coming to you live from the OTS Beer Garden. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Wednesday evenings, wherever you may be. We got a couple of big spenders tonight already. I got to acknowledge before we get into the business of tonight's Dynamite, a couple of big spenders in the venue tonight, man. We got Jason Barker with a $100 super chat, David Thiering with a $100 super chat, and my guy, Dwayne Jackson, with a $200 super chat. Thank you guys very much. Wanted to shout you guys out with your unbelievable generosity here right at the top. I will get into everybody's super chats a little bit later on in the show if you guys want to get in on that. Like usual, we hang out at the end of the show, so get them on in. Obviously, I am not with my co-host tonight. Jesse has some family priorities to take care of tonight. His daughter was graduating. And like the good Samaritan that I am, I gave him the night off. I did not want him anywhere near this show. Though I'm actually quite curious to know what he's thinking about the decisions that Tony Khan had made tonight creatively on AEW Dynamite. I actually enjoyed Dynamite tonight. I did. It wasn't a bad show at all. It wasn't a bad show. I thought that main event was tremendous. I love a good surprise. I love how just the wrestling world comes together during this time of the year, man. It's AEW Forbidden Door season. A lot was made about last night and what WWE did on NXT. Ethan Page showed up on NXT. He's challenging Trick Williams for the NXT Championship. Jordan Grace showed up from TNA and is challenging Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. A lot of these promotions are joining forces. We got a lot of great partnerships in the world of pro wrestling, and it's something that a lot of people really aren't used to seeing. Vince McMahon shied away from this. Vince McMahon shied away from working with anybody because he thought that WWE was the only place in town. He didn't acknowledge anybody. He didn't want to know of anybody. He stopped signing people away from other promotions because he wanted so badly to train in-house and create instead of signing someone else from a different promotion from some other part of the globe to bring them on in. He felt like he needed to retrain them all over again for the WWE way of life. We sit here and we criticize Tony Khan for some of the decisions that he's made over the last several months, and rightfully so, because a lot of this shit just doesn't make sense. A lot of this shit seems rushed. A lot of this shit seems completely out of left field. A lot of this has us asking more questions than not, more questions than answers. For sure, some of these storylines go unanswered. Some of these storylines just drop off the face of the earth. to be revisited at a later date with no real resolution, no real conclusion. WWE used to do that, and I'm seeing some similarities here in AEW. We've been through a lot of that over there. You'd think that I'd know a lot more seeing it happen for years to call it out when Tony does it now. AEW being around and AEW existing. We talked about this with the Solid Monster on Tuesday Night Titans last night, episode 50. Go check it out. Tony Khan is the reason for a lot of great shit. On top of all his miscues, Tony Khan can stamp his name to a lot of great shit in the last 5 years. A lot of memorable moments coming out of AEW. A lot of great superstars coming out of AEW. One of the most important things that Tony Khan has done is showed that a big-time wrestling promotion is not afraid to share the spotlight in a working relationship with other promotions in the world of pro wrestling. Vince didn't want to do it. Triple H always wanted to do it, but Triple H had to be a good son-in-law. He had to abide by Daddy Vince's rules. Tony, he don't answer to nobody. Tony does whatever the fuck he wants. But seeing Tony Khan do it has lit a fire under Triple H to a point where Triple H is now starting to get some working relationships. TNA, he wants to work with Marigold Promotions and Rossi Ogawa. I see it. They're going to be a feeder system for him and his women's division. But Tony Khan started the ball rolling by working with New Japan. Third biggest promotion in the entire world is New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's a great partnership. So to see Tony Khan rightfully at times get the shit that he gets, I don't think enough people call out the good that he does as well. And this is one of those good things. Forbidden Door. Working relationships with CMLL, AAA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and whoever else wants to work with AEW. I don't think anybody would shy away from working with AEW. But we have Tony Khan to thank for that. The Forbidden Door concept has been a great thing. Though I do think that the concept itself is dying. And it's going to be a very difficult situation to keep it special and keep it unique. How could it be a Forbidden Door when Tony Khan has basically started to close the Forbidden Door by taking most of the talent that New Japan once had, that was highly sought after, that was absolutely wanted here in the States to be showcased a little bit more often? How could it be a Forbidden Door when he basically has started to close that Forbidden Door by taking all of their top stars slowly but surely? I don't know. Working with CMLL and AAA is not going to really give me a feel of this is the Forbidden Door. Who does New Japan have that I really want to see here in North America? Nobody's going to be able to live up to Okada and Jay White and Will Ospreay and everybody else that he took from New Japan. I mean, for Christ's sakes, we got Jon Moxley holding the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. They don't even have their own world champion. He's an AEW superstar. So I question how Tony Khan is going to keep the Forbidden Door unique. A lot of people have a problem with the Forbidden Door. I don't have a problem with the Forbidden Door. I've been one of the few people to actually defend the concept over the last several years. Oh, there's no story. Oh, there's no storylines. Oh, nothing makes sense. Oh, it's just matches. This is the one time a year. This is the next 4 weeks of television out of 52 that I don't mind where there's nothing, but I want a little something in return. I don't want there to be no story, but I want a little story. I want some dialogue. I want some emotion. People look at this shit as, oh, it's just great wrestling. AEW gives us great wrestling 52 weeks out of the year. What we need from AEW is a little mix of story. We need a little bit of emotion. Us as fans need a little bit more of an emotional investment instead of just, hey man, this is going to be a great 25 to 30 minute match, wrestling match. It's great. I'm going to need a little bit more than that. 4 weeks till Forbidden Door. I don't know who else has talked about this in the community, but the Forbidden Door is AEW's version of an all-star game. It's basically the MLB all-star game. It's basically the NBA all-star game, but not as egregious. NBA all-star game has gone to shit. MLB baseball and their all-star game isn't much better, but it's basically a collective of the biggest and best pro wrestlers under the same umbrella working together. It's a celebration of pro wrestling. That's what Forbidden Door is. So for the next 4 weeks where people are asking, hey man, where's the story? Hey, why is this happening? Hey, who is this? Hey, why is there no vignette? I think giving them a little leeway and giving them a little bit less of a problem. I think that's the fairest thing to do here. Because we've discussed this last year and the year before that, where people ask questions about the Forbidden Door. Why? Who's this? Who's that? It's the all-star game for professional wrestling. And I actually quite like that. But you see Tony Khan doing something a little bit different. Little change in the concept here this year. We have Swerve Strickland, who is the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Has he been a great world champion? That's up for debate. I don't think AEW has done him any favors, really. He still isn't the top priority on the show. There are other things that have taken precedent over Swerve Strickland. Has he been booked like the guy? No. No, he hasn't. And that's not his fault, and I don't blame him one fucking iota for that. It's all creative. I don't know why he needs to wrestle every week. I don't know why he's in these nothing matches. I don't know why he's not the primary focus of the show. He is your world champion. I say this all the time. I don't see WWE treating Cody Rhodes that way. I don't see WWE treating Roman Reigns that way. We have your world heavyweight champion wrestling every week in these nothing matches, eliminator matches. And he's coming on at 9:30 wrestling Luchasaurus. Meanwhile, everything else that's going on around him, you put him on that early and you put him in such a nothing match, he's quickly forgotten throughout the rest of the evening. He should be your primary focus. They're doing something a little bit different this year. Swerve wrestled Christian Cage. Great match at Double or Nothing. People are wondering, well, what's going to happen with the rest of his title reign? We got the answer tonight. Will Ospreay won a Forbidden Door Gauntlet match in the main event of Dynamite tonight. Will Ospreay, by the way, is the new international champion. He beat Roderick Strong at Double or Nothing in a great match to open that show on Sunday night. Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay is your main event for AEW Forbidden Door at the UBS Arena on Long Island on June 30th. It's a great match. Absolutely fantastic match. Two of the best pro wrestlers on the planet. A main event that could main event any wrestling show anywhere. My question is, why is it happening so soon? Why is it happening so soon? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I'm a man of many words. But I don't have an answer for you. Now, before I get into what I want to talk about here, I want to preface this by saying this is a big match. This is one of the biggest matches that Tony Khan has available to him right now. I want to take you back to a couple of years ago where Bryan Danielson stood across the ring from Kenny Omega in front of 20,000 people in Queens at the first Grand Slam that AEW did at Arthur Ashe Stadium. I don't think anybody then asked why. Did anybody ask why that match happened? I know I didn't. Do you want to know why? Because I was watching two of the world's greatest professional wrestlers in Arthur Ashe Stadium for the first time in AEW in front of 20,000 people. And before the bell rung, people were chanting, "Holy shit, holy shit." Which still to this day might be my favorite AEW moment of all time. That moment. Bryan looking at one side of the ring, looking at Kenny, and Kenny Omega. The camera zooms in on Kenny Omega, and this man, a heel, by the way, trying desperately to hide a smile because he knew how special this moment was with 20,000 people. That is my favorite moment. Nobody asked why. And they went 30 minutes to a fucking draw. Now, fast forward to 2024. We're looking at the same thing. That was the biggest match that Tony had available to him then, and this is the biggest match that Tony Khan has available to him now. I am not going to ask why yet, but I am going to try and figure out why he's doing this so soon. Because all this is going to do is get people to ask more questions in regards to Swerve. Questions that were raised the first week that Tony Khan dropped the ball on his title run. A lot of people coming out of Dynasty felt that he winning the championship was merely holding the championship to be a transitional champion. They didn't do anything that first Dynamite goes into the second Dynamite, goes into the third Dynamite. We see the build going into Double or Nothing. People are whispering online. People are making conversations online. Swerve is going to be a transitional champion. They were not wrong to start thinking that based on how Tony Khan was already treating Swerve as a secondary champion. And the one guy that people thought he was keeping the belt warm for was the guy who won the Gauntlet match tonight in Will Ospreay. I'm not going to ask why yet. I'm not. But I hope they know what they're doing. I don't trust the creative in AEW. I don't. I don't trust Tony Khan. I used to. Whoever he had working for him 3 years ago, even 2.5 years ago, I'd be all right. You know what? Let's see it play out. There's got to be some silver lining here. Now, I don't. I don't trust Tony Khan. Do I trust him more than a Vince McMahon? Sure. But week by week, month by month, I'm starting to see some of that Vince McMahon creative process come through Tony Khan, and it's less Tony and less AEW and more Vince era WWE-like. We need to stay away from that. Why exactly is this match happening now? Because all I could say right at the jump, it jumps off the page. Transitional champion. I hope to God they know what they're doing. I know they need a big main event. Swerve defending the championship against a Naito or a Tanahashi or Shota Umino or Evil or whoever you want to bring over from New Japan was not going to get the job done. It wasn't. It wasn't going to say to people, hey, man, I need to watch this show. It would have done nothing for Swerve's title run. Nothing. To beat someone like that, what is it going to do? He's already in the middle of nothing. So I'm looking at this as, all right, they made a good decision by putting him in the ring with somebody of value, of note, instead of some random from New Japan that we all know he's probably going to blow through. But putting him in the ring against Will Ospreay, though it does have some concern, you could look at this as being a small piece to a bigger picture. There's only two ways this goes. There's only two ways this goes. Those two ways are as follows. Swerve wins at Forbidden Door. Because I'm telling you right now, I don't give a fuck what Will Ospreay is or who Will Ospreay is to AEW. This guy is the guy. He is the ace. And I said it once, I'm going to say it again. Will Ospreay needs to be to AEW what Cody Rhodes is to WWE right now. But you can't just bypass Swerve Strickland. You can't. You can't just say, hey, man, we got this guy, but this guy, he deserves it, and get bored of him so quick that you want to rush to put the championship on Will Ospreay. There is only one outcome for Forbidden Door. I don't give a shit what they got planned. Scrap it, throw it away, and burn that fucking trash can, light it on fire. There is only one fucking outcome. And that is Swerve Strickland defeats Will Ospreay. That's it. There's no other creative that needs to be thought of in this moment for June 30th. People are already saying, well, what about a 30-minute draw? No. No, we're not going to a fucking draw in the main event. You know, this Owen Hart Cup has really thrown a wrench into everybody's fucking gears now. Tony on Sunday night just said the winner of the Owen is going to get a world championship match at Forbidden Door. I'll get to that aspect in a second. Swerve needs to win against Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door. What happens then? What does Will Ospreay do? I don't know why we made Will Ospreay the international champion if he's only going to be meddling in the world championship title picture. What about the international championship? What are we doing with that? Why did we give him a championship? Just to give him a championship. If he's going to go after the biggest championship that they have. Does he need it? Did Roddy need to lose? Couldn't have put that belt on somebody else that maybe could have carried the international championship to some sort of prestige or prominence? Swerve beats Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay wants the world championship because he sees Wembley in his sights. He enters the Owen Hart Cup. AEW doesn't have the desire to tell long, drawn-out stories. I don't know what their problem is with long-term booking. They gave up on long-term booking a long time ago. Having a tournament in between Forbidden Door and All In is stereotypical Tony Khan. He doesn't have to go out there and write us a drama-filled fucking story that's going to take the television to the next level. He don't have to do that. He's got a fucking tournament that's going to play out for 4 weeks. That's his story. That's his preferred storytelling. If Swerve beats Ospreay, Ospreay can come back and enter the Owen Hart Cup, win the Owen Hart Cup, and get a rematch against Swerve at Wembley for All In and beat Swerve there for the World Championship. That's one way we go about it. The second way we go about it, which again, it would make Swerve a transitional champion. He'd get a win over Ospreay. to shut everybody up. Oh, look, he's our world champion. He beat our biggest guy. Great. Yeah, so let's send him to Wembley to drop the championship to the guy we all knew was going to win it there anyway. The other way this is going to go is Will Ospreay beats Swerve Strickland at Forbidden Door. And we get MJF winning the Owen Hart Cup Memorial Tournament, and he challenges Will Ospreay at All In for the World Championship. I don't know what good that would do because we're only going to put the championship on Will Ospreay to put it on MJF. Or Swerve can beat Will Ospreay. We don't get a second match between them at All In. MJF wins the Owen, and he beats Swerve. Either way you look at it, it doesn't look good for Swerve Strickland and the World Heavyweight Championship. As soon as you get Will Ospreay getting those types of reactions, as soon as you get Will Ospreay creeping up the rankings and you get that sense of what Will Ospreay was brought in for, the more Swerve is going to be looking behind him. Now you want to inject MJF back into AEW television. You already ended the Adam Cole thing because Adam Cole's not ready to come back. Where the fuck do you think MJF is going to go? He was fucked out of his world championship. You don't think he's got his eyes on that prize already? You don't think AEW is ready to fucking put the belt back on the guy they didn't really, honestly, I don't think they've even should have taken the belt off of him. If everything played out right, Adam Cole would have been your world champion. MJF being back healthy, you don't think AEW and Tony Khan have a desire to put the belt back on the number one guy that they got there in MJF? Everything comes back around to not looking all that good for Swerve Strickland. But I'm going to hold out on judgment. I want to sit here and shit on this match happening and the fact that I feel like they just continue to do Swerve Strickland dirty. Tony Khan needed a main event for Forbidden Door. This is the biggest main event that he could possibly do. Is it really a Forbidden Door main event? No, because we know Will Ospreay is now a full-time AEW talent. It has nothing to do with the Forbidden Door. The Forbidden Door is going to be less of a Forbidden Door who's walking through. Instead of it being up and down the fucking card in every match, it may be just a couple of matches. It may just now be a gimmick for some of the show to take place on, not the entire show. Maybe that's the change that they go ahead and do moving forward. But this match happening now, I can't help but sit here and think that Swerve's days as world champion are coming to an end very, very, very soon. And if not now, by All In, the Swerve Strickland World Championship experiment is going to go goodbye. They needed a big main event, and they got one. I just don't know what they do, and quite frankly, I don't trust their creative process. I don't. And with MJF being back, it just throws a huge wrench into everything because you know for a fact he needs to be slotted at the top of the show. He is the reason why we are going to want to watch this show. He is the one that's driving the interest. He is the one driving the ratings. I don't know what Tony's got planned for Forbidden Door, but I can tell you right now, you thought Swerve and the discussion of him being a transitional champion was a lot coming out of Dynasty. This isn't going to do anything to stop those talking about him being a transitional champion. Mercedes. She had a wrestling match tonight. She defended the TBS championship that she just won on Sunday night from Willow at Double or Nothing. She wrestled Sky Blue tonight, as Sky Blue was revealed to be the attacker for Mercedes. The lights go out a few weeks back. Here we thought that AEW might have dropped this storyline. No. AEW played it out tonight. And my God, man, did it feel like it was written 5 minutes before the show went on the air. And Don Callis, he's got a new member of the Don Callis family. Here's a spoiler. It's not Orange Cassidy. We're going to go over the rest of Dynamite tonight. I want to thank you guys very much for joining me here on Off the Script, your AEW Dynamite post show for May 29, 2024. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. We got 2,600 in here tonight. Only 500 likes. That's a problem. I'm going to need at least 1,000 likes minimum right here on the AEW Dynamite post. Go check out all the other content, including last night's great episode 50 of Tuesday Night Titans with me and the Solid Monster. Go and check that out. Great discussion coming out of there. We talk about Becky Lynch, her contract. Is she going to AEW? She's a free agent as of this weekend. We talked about Adam Copeland and him breaking his leg at Double or Nothing. We talk about the AEW Time Warner Brothers Discovery TV rights deal. Tony Khan disappointed with an initial offer. We discuss a lot. Go check that stuff out on the homepage. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications and get those super chats in. Thank you guys for all the love and support already via the super chats. We will get to you guys a little bit later on in the show. We start at the top with Mercedes Mone. I will say this, man, in regards to how AEW operates, honestly, it was easy for them to give Mercedes a TBS championship celebration. She just won the title Sunday at Double or Nothing. This same Wednesday, right, the follow-up show to the pay-per-view, they have no problem giving Mercedes a celebration for the TBS championship that she won over Willow Nightingale. But Swerve Strickland beat Samoa Joe. He won the world championship at AEW Dynasty, and they did not give him any sort of follow-up on that Wednesday's Dynamite. Instead, they gave him a match against Kyle Fletcher, which absolutely did not make any sense. No promo, no announcement of anything. They just let him go out there and wrestle. Nothing was said about anything. Why did they do this for Mercedes, and why didn't they do it for Swerve Strickland? Or am I not allowed to ask that question? It's just the optics of it. Do they care? Probably not. Is AEW correcting the mistakes moving forward? I doubt it. But why didn't they do this for Swerve when he won the championship? Just a little bizarre that they treat Mercedes better than they do their world champion. She comes out. The ring is filled with balloons. And she's out there with a microphone in hand. Please say hello to your new CEO and your new TBS champion. Wasn't I worth the wait? Didn't I tell you that money changes everything? She said on Sunday they celebrated not only 5 years of AEW, but they celebrated the greatest of all time. And she said, me. I'm the greatest of all time. She said she and Willow Nightingale tore the house down. She said Willow had the run of her career and gave her the fight of her life, but she is just way too nice. She said she could have told her from a mile away that Stokely Hathaway and Chris Statlander would screw her over. She said she hopes when Willow returns that she kicks both of their asses. She then went back to dancing. It's basically the extent of her celebration. She said she was born to do this, and she's ready, and she cannot wait for the Forbidden Door. Not really much of a celebration, but much more of a celebration than Swerve Strickland got on Wednesday following AEW Dynasty. She was interrupted on the big screen by someone yelling her name, Mercedes. Mercedes. Sky Blue showed up on the big screen, and a clip aired of Mercedes being attacked during an interview several weeks ago where social media coined the phrase Mercedes Mone. They replayed this interview clip with her being attacked in the dark. Sky Blue shows up on the big screen and says, I gotta admit, that was my best work. She attacked Mercedes from behind, and this started the show off with a possible first challenge for the TBS Championship and Mercedes Moné. I can't help but sit here and tell you guys that I am incredibly disappointed in the fact that Sky Blue was the one revealed to be the attacker of Mercedes Moné. Now, it's not some big, oh my God, I'm going to need some major reveal of a storyline. But it genuinely felt like AEW, just at the moment before she went out through the curtain, that they realized, hey man, we have this little hiccup in who attacked Mercedes. Why don't we rectify that tonight and get rid of this particular aspect of her story? This came off in such a hurried fashion. This came off in such a rushed way that it absolutely fell flat on its face, and it just came off. It legitimately screamed unimportant. Of all the weeks you had to come up with a prominent name on who attacked Mercedes, Sky Blue's the best you got? Now, granted, I'm not a dummy. I know Julia and Sky Blue kind of had a little riff-raff, a little back and forth with Mercedes. This was when Mercedes first joined the company. There was a little scuffle between the two. But that's the attacker. Sky Blue's the best creative you got for being the attacker, right? I'm going to cycle back to this in a second, and I'm going to tell you and show you and describe to you how creatively inept Tony Khan and his team are, so much so that they lack any thought process whatsoever. They lack any creativity whatsoever. She comes on the big screen. We got zero explanation. We got nothing said by Sky Blue to Mercedes as to why she did it. We just get an attack. We see the attack during the interview, and we get an attack here tonight. And in typical WWE fashion, they started the show off. They had an attack in the opening segment, and it's set up for a match later on the show in the same night. Great. That's the extent of AEW storytelling. Hey, man, let's wrap this up. But again, hold that thought. We're going to cycle back to that and this underwhelming story a little bit later on in the show. This sucked. This was awful. Swerve Strickland. Speaking of which, he wrestled Luchasaurus, because I refuse to call him Killswitch. one-on-one with Luchasaurus. Correct me if I'm wrong, people. Didn't Swerve Strickland end his story with the patriarchy at Double or Nothing when he beat Christian Cage and retained the AEW Championship? Why are we booking this match on this show after he had already ended the story with Christian Cage on Sunday night? There was no Christian Cage on this show. There was no Nick Wayne on this show. There was no Mama Wayne on this show. Luchasaurus came out there all by himself. AEW promoted this for an HBO series, House of the Dragon, and that's the only reason why this match was made. It was made to appease the higher powers over at Warner Brothers Discovery. Who's the closest thing that we have to a dragon on this show? Oh, I know. The guy who wears a silly dinosaur mask. Some solid storytelling there, bro. Why do we need Swerve Strickland wrestling every single week on this show? Now, I don't really know what goes into having him on the show every week. Maybe he wants to be there. Maybe he wants to wrestle every fucking week. I don't know why he needs to. Why does he need to wrestle every single week? In these nothing matches, in these eliminator matches. He doesn't need to wrestle. He's the world champion. You should be figuring out who he should be wrestling when it matters. Not fucking Luchasaurus, or Nick Wayne, or Kyle Fletcher, or whoever else you want to fucking throw out there. Jack Cartwheel. My God, Jack Cartwheel. Why do we have to have him wrestling every week? The more you see him wrestle, the less valuable Swerve will be. The more you see him wrestle, the higher probability of an injury happening. That is a real possibility. I don't want to see him wrestle every week. Should he be on the show every week? Sure. But this is how lapsed Tony Khan and the creative team are. Can't come up with anything intriguing for Swerve to do. We'll just throw him in a wrestling match. That don't matter. Now, with that said, the match with Luchasaurus actually was very good. It was better than good. I thought the fucking match was great. But again, it goes without saying, he is your world champion. He should be that great. House of the Dragon was the promotional tie-in for this match. Swerve, obviously, the smaller of the two guys. Swerve is a big guy. But Luchasaurus is just a little bit bigger. So Luchasaurus used his power game, went after the legs of Swerve. So Swerve ultimately connected on a draping neckbreaker on the apron. Killswitch blocked the pump kick from the apron, and that sent Swerve crashing into the steel steps on the outside. So we got a commercial break. Strickland, he's back from break. Strickland locked in a desperation triangle choke, rolling into a flatliner. Strickland followed up with an uppercut off the ropes, eventually connected with a beautiful brainbuster on Luchasaurus for a 2 count. So Luchasaurus avoided big pressure, hit the headbutt midair off of a rolling Swerve, connected with a choke slam. He goes for cover, Swerve kicked out. Luchasaurus grabbed the chair. Nana on the outside, ripped it away. Good to see Nana back, huh? He ripped the chair away. This distracted Killswitch, or Luchasaurus, enough for Strickland to connect on multiple pump kicks and a Swerve stomp off the apron to the floor outside. We go back inside. Swerve wanted a house call on Luchasaurus, but Luchasaurus caught and hit another choke slam and a standing moonsault. Crowd was going crazy at this point. Really nice spot here. The transition from Luchasaurus catching Swerve in a house call, hitting a choke slam, and then the standing moonsault for a very close 2 count. So Luchasaurus missed the extinction lariat. Swerve hits a bounce back German. House call. Swerve stomp. He goes for recovery, gets a 2 count. Swerve hits another house call, and that was enough to put Luchasaurus away. 1, 2, 3. And the AEW World Heavyweight Champion gets another victory over another guy who should not be in the ring with said world champion. Post-match, they tried to make sense of why this match happened outside the promotional tie-in. Prince Nana gave Swerve some scissors, and he cut some of Luchasaurus' hair off, which was revenge for Luchasaurus ripping a dreadlock out of Swerve's head only a few weeks ago in the build to Double or Nothing before his match with Christian Cage. So they tried to make sense of this, that he wanted one last piece of the patriarchy. I guess that could be looked at as, you know, at least they made that tie-in on top of the promotional tie-in for House of the Dragon. But shouldn't this match have happened before the pay-per-view? I mean, if you really wanted Swerve in the ring with Luchasaurus, I would have much rather seen him in the ring with Luchasaurus over a Nick Wayne. The match with Nick Wayne was basically on par with being a squash match. It wasn't a squash per se, but it was one level before a squash match. I don't know why this match didn't take place before Double or Nothing to give Swerve some more adversity going into the pay-per-view with Christian Cage. This ended up being better than the Nick Wayne match times 10. I don't know why they didn't do this before the pay-per-view. But here we are after the pay-per-view. Doesn't make sense. Swerve wins, and he sits back for the rest of the evening, waiting to see who wins the Forbidden Door Gauntlet match. Wink, wink, we know who won for his AEW World Championship match at Forbidden Door. Great match, though, with Luchasaurus. I thought it was great. Tony Schiavone makes the announcement that Tony Khan made Mercedes and Sky Blue for the TBS title official for tonight. Great. Jon Moxley. He's backstage. He puts over the experience of Rocky Romero, being the veteran that he is. He's facing Rocky Romero tonight. IWGP World Championship Eliminator match for Jon Moxley and Rocky Romero. Why? Why? He says he's a one-armed man, and it's a dumb idea for him to be wrestling. But when am I ever at 100%? He is a champion, and that's what champions do. He's basically selling the effects of what happened with Takeshita and the attack before Double or Nothing on Sunday. He talked about his various upcoming matches in upcoming cities, in AEW, and outside of AEW, because he loves this shit. Does Jon Moxley. He'll stand at the top of AEW, New Japan, and wherever else he pleases, because he's Jon Moxley. TV time with Chris Jericho. This was a real segment, folks. TV time with Chris Jericho was a real segment on this show. Big Bill, he introduces Jericho to the ring. We got a new segment, a new interview show for Chris Jericho. TV time with Chris Jericho. It's artificial turf and a tree and a TV screen, something like the Geritron 3000. They got a podium. This basically looked like a kindergarten classroom. The tree looked like it was drawn up by a 5-year-old. This looked like a kindergarten setup, like he's teaching a kindergarten class. TV time with Chris Jericho. Comes out waving to fans, delusional. He's the most disingenuous person in pro wrestling, and we've got lots of those, says Tony Schiavone. TV time with Chris Jericho. Taz even alluded to, this is a shoot, folks. This is a shoot. He said, even when the leaves fall off the trees, they always grow back in the spring, stronger and brighter than ever, says Big Bill. Jericho then plugged his new Learning Tree t-shirt, and he thanked everybody for making it #1 on Pro Wrestling Tees and Shop AEW. It wasn't. I doubt anybody's buying the Learning Tree t-shirt. If you do, you got some fucking problems. He teased throwing it into the crowd. He did not. He placed it on the top turnbuckle and left everybody wanting a handout. Even though you hate this fucking angle and you hate this gimmick, you still want a fucking t-shirt. He showed you. He says he's the longest reigning for the world champion ever at 39 days. So he's counting the days of his title run. Is Chris Jericho. Billy with a $200 Billy bomb. Oh, my goodness. Billy says, what's up, JD? I was at Double or Nothing. I had an OTS sign, and some jerk tried to take it from me, and security saw it and kicked him out. Without security looking, I punched him 2 times to the floor and got away with it, being kicked out of the venue. OTS for life. Love OTS and my OTS family for life. Billy, that's a great story, brother. It's funny, man. I didn't see no OTS representation at Double or Nothing. I didn't see anybody represent OTS. I wonder where you were sitting, Billy. You should have told me you were going to the show, man. You guys got to tell me when you're going to these shows with some OTS representation. I got to see it. I got to look out for it. Won't be the first time it happened on an AEW show. But Billy, thank you so much, brother. He's the longest reigning for the world champion at 39 days. He said, Hook and Shibata are tough. But if adversity is ice cream, always put a cherry on top. I don't put cherries on my ice cream. I do put cherries in my old fashions, though. He said, many are called, but only few answer. He said, many reach out, but only a few are chosen. He said, many talk the talk of wanting to sit under the learning tree, but very few walk the walk. He introduces Brian Keith and said he walked under the shade of the learning tree. Brian Keith walks out, gets zero reaction. Does Brian Keith? Jericho asked him what caused him to want to get sucked into the Jericho vortex and become a disciple of the learning tree. Brian Keith says he noticed a lack of respect for Jericho. He says the fans are lucky to be breathing the same air Chris Jericho is breathing. He began yelling at everybody, show respect. You show respect. These children over here, show respect to Chris Jericho. Jericho told him, listen. It's not a yelling moment. It's a teaching moment. He says, if you want something to happen, you go out and grab it. Jericho says he's a bad man. Bill says he'd like to say that he's a bad apple. Jericho said a bad apple doesn't fall far from the learning tree. Ha ha. He says he can grow under the learning tree as long as he wants. Out comes Hook. Internally, as a fan, I'm dying at this moment. I am dying for this segment to end. Hook attacked 2 security guys. Others backed off. He went face-to-face with Samoa Joe, who suddenly appeared at ringside. His music started to play. Fans started to chant for Samoa Joe. He had a few words whispered in Hook's ear, and it looked like some advice from Joe to Hook, and he got Hook to leave the ringside area without laying a hand on Big Bill, Chris Jericho, or Brian Keith. So we got a Joe and Hook dynamic here. I don't mind that at all. But this learning tree is absolutely the most uninteresting aspect of AEW television all year. I feel genuinely zero emotional investment into what Chris Jericho is doing. And I feel the fans feel the same way. You know, it's easy to tell when fans are generating real heel heat when fans genuinely want to boo, and it's a great thing for the show. This does not feel that way. The moaning, the groaning, the feeling, the sounds, the ambiance of when Jericho is out there, it all feels like genuine go-away heat. They're not reacting in a way where they genuinely hate Chris Jericho and they want to boo him and they want to see his ass get handed to him. They are genuinely booing for this segment to end and die 1,000 deaths. They don't want to see this anymore. And the more obnoxious he continues to get, it's because of us. If you've noticed over the last several weeks, the more we despise what's going on here, he is making it more obnoxious week after week after week. We went from the learning tree being Jericho's new gimmick to now having his own sports entertainment-like talk show that is looking like a fucking kindergarten classroom called The Learning Tree, TV Time with The Learning Tree, Chris Jericho. Nobody gives a shit about the gimmick. Nobody gives a shit about Jericho. Nobody gives a shit about the Learning Tree. Nobody gives a shit about the FTW title. It is a non-recognized championship. This championship has taken center stage over the Continental title and over the International Championship. This title has taken center stage over the Trios Championship. This title has taken center stage over the AEW Tag Team titles. This is getting more television time than a lot of other aspects of AEW television that desperately need it. Why are we paying this so much attention? Is this making Hook any better than he was before previously? Genuinely, I'm asking this question. Does Hook look better off for it? Has Jericho made Hook look better for it? No. He looks good standing next to Samoa Joe. A Samoa Joe and Hook tag team is something I can get behind. Absolutely. That's going to take Hook to the next level. Has Jericho made Big Bill look any better? Is Jericho all of a sudden going to transform Brian Keith into the next big thing? No, it's not. Not this version of Jericho. This is a fail. This is a flop. Yet here we are making this a bigger priority than other aspects of AEW television that need that time for themselves. It's a shame. AEW's got their priorities all fucked up. It's not the first time I've said that. Clip out of Jon Moxley pinning Konosuke Takeshita at Double or Nothing. They went to the announcers who said that wasn't supposed to air, then threw a video package to one Stephanie Vacker, hyping her Forbidden Door appearance. So we knew she was going to be at Forbidden Door, and I automatically assumed that she was being brought in to wrestle Mercedes Moné at Forbidden Door. There was a report going around that she was in the building, and the fact that they did this video package only solidified that she would probably be coming out at some point during the show to have an interaction with Mercedes Moné. My guy David M with a $99.99 super chat. He says the only reason they keep booking quarter-filled NBA arenas is so Moxley and Jericho's ego will fit every single week. David M's got comment of the night so far. Absolutely. Thank you, David M, and thank you to everybody that's showing your tremendous support for what I do here, man. We are ending May very, very strong. Jon Moxley, he went one-on-one with Rocky Romero. This was an IWGP World Championship Eliminator match. I don't know what it is, and you can't really mention this on social media because the AEW tribalists, the elitists, they will only argue back with you, and they don't have a fucking brain cell between all six of them. They are ridiculous. How many times are we going to go out there and do an eliminator match with someone that shouldn't be in the discussion for a world championship match? Honestly. Rocky Romero, what business does Rocky Romero have wrestling a match for an opportunity at the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship? I don't get it. I mean, is this something that the IWGP Championship undergoes? Do we normally see eliminator matches for the IWGP Championship? I figured that championship was just surrounded with prestige and of great value and respect. Why do we have the IWGP champion putting an opportunity at him on the line for a real championship match against fucking jobbers? I don't get it. Let's go look at Rocky Romero on cagematch.net. I want to see what happens here. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something that I'm just not seeing that Tony Khan is. Being that he loves this website, maybe he has equity in this website. Jay White beats Rocky Romero on AEW Dynamite, May 8th. Kyle O'Reilly beats Rocky Romero on AEW Rampage, May 1st. Wow, man, we're starting the month of May off really hot. We got Rocky Romero going 0-2. 0-2. Kyle O'Reilly beats him. Jay White beats him. Then he goes and wrestles for an FTW title contender series. This was on Collision, May 16th. Katsuyori Shibata beats Rocky Romero in 10 minutes. So you mean to tell me that Rocky Romero, who's now 0-3, who we last saw him in the ring, was fighting for the opportunity at a title that's not recognized in the company? That's the guy you're giving an eliminator match to for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, you don't want me to sit here and fucking call this bullshit out? Oh, why don't you just enjoy it? It's a good wrestling match. It doesn't make sense. May 22nd, Pac beats Rocky Romero. That makes Rocky Romero 0-4. 0-4 in the month of May. Yet he gets an eliminator match at the third biggest world championship in the entire world in the industry. Makes a lot of sense. Eliminator matches need to die. Maybe if you wanted to do this match one-on-one because it's something that Rocky Romero wanted to do. Maybe Rocky Romero is from Los Angeles. Maybe John Moxley wanted this match himself. Why do we need to tag IWGP World Title Eliminator? Just based off the record of Rocky Romero this month, he's eliminated himself from any title conversation, period. I don't like it. Ridiculous. Why is the IWGP World Title on AEW television? I have no fucking idea. Says Scripps with a $5 super chat. I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. John Moxley beat Rocky Romero. What did you think was going to happen here? Romero was working the arm, hits a double stomp off the top rope to John Moxley. Obviously working the arm because Moxley's got an injured arm. We go to commercial break. Coming out of the commercial break, Moxley, he bites his way out of a corner because Moxley was trapped by Romero. Bites his way out. Hits a one-arm suplex, or superplex, I should say. It was a superplex, not just a suplex, a superplex. We got a strike exchange. Romero thought he had the upper hand here. Moxley exploded out with a cutter. Rocky Romero fought back with the tornado DDT into a cross arm breaker. Moxley spun out into a bulldog choke. Rocky Romero got free. He snapped the bad arm back, working on the arm again. Romero hits a rolling arm bar out of the corner. Moxley got to his feet and stomped his way free. Rocky Romero starts throwing some desperation kicks. He was leveled by a huge discus lariat from Jon Moxley, which led to a Death Rider for the 1, 2, 3. Goodbye. I mean, I don't know what this had to do with anything coming out of Double or Nothing or going into Forbidden Door. I don't know why we waste television time with matches that have absolutely zero meaning and lead to nothing. They lead to absolutely nothing. Oh, but it's a great wrestling match. I don't like television time being wasted by trash like this. I don't understand. You want this shit to happen? Put it on fucking Rampage at 11 o'clock when no one's watching. Dynamite? Renee approached Samoa Joe and Hook, who says they learned their first lesson tonight. They do not exist on others' time. Truly dangerous men are on their own time. See, just based off that alone, that made Hook look much more like a badass than anything that he's been involved with Chris Jericho. The Don Callis family. Don Callis had a contract for the newest member of the Don Callis family tonight, and everybody thought it was going to be Orange Cassidy. But if you listened to me and Jesse, and you listened to me and the Silent Monster on Tuesday Night Titans, we told you it was not going to be Orange Cassidy, but we told you it was going to be Trent Beretta. And that's exactly what ended up happening. Don Callis entered the ring. He's got something important to tell the fans. Fans are booing Don Callis. He's truly a heat mat. You see, this is heat. This is fucking heat. The heat this is a prime example of the heat Jericho's getting and the heat Don Callis is getting. The heat Jericho's getting is, bro, can you get the fuck out of the ring and off my television? Now, the heat Don Callis gets, that is genuine pro wrestling heat from the fans to Don Callis because they want to see him get his fucking ass kicked. The ambiance is just different. Right in front of you. People are booing Don Callis. He held up a contract and said he has something more valuable than gold or diamonds. He says it's a contract to work for the Don Callis family. He was bombarded with boos. He says it's one of the greatest pleasures of his life to scout a talent like Orange Cassidy. He says when he sees Orange, he sees himself. And Taz said it sounded like Shivani after he walks into a house after a few days on the road. Taz is getting his shots in on everybody tonight. He got some shots in on Tony Schiavone. He got some shots in on Chris Jericho. Orange Cassidy made his entrance. He enters the ring, and Don Callis says this was the moment the world was waiting for. I doubt it. All 680,000 of you, I'm sure. He said Orange is truly an iconic performer within the industry. He says he's there to work with him, and it's a pleasure to offer him a contract into the Don Callis family. Cassidy takes the contract, he holds the contract up, and he rips the contract up right in front of Don Callis. Cassidy picks it up, or Callis rather picks it up. Cassidy dropped it. Callis picks it up. Cassidy then takes the microphone and says, hey, Don, no. No, I'm not joining the Don Callis family. He turns around, he leaves. Don Callis grabs him by the arm, he spins him around and said, no one says no to Don Callis. I tell you what you're going to do. What the hell are you going to do about it? All of a sudden, Stokely Hathaway walked out with Chris Statlander, who looked... Jesse, if you need to watch Dynamite tonight, man, I think this may be a grade A segment for you. Stokely walked out with Stat. Looked great. He says he's AEW's #1 hater, and he doesn't like the way he walks or talks. He said he's just like Willow Nightingale. Statlander then said her best friend accepts his invite to join the family. Trent Beretta all of a sudden attacked Orange Cassidy from behind, beats the shit out of Orange Cassidy, and we got a "fuck you Trent" chant in Los Angeles. He punched away at Orange Cassidy, started yelling at him, saying he hates him. Callis pulled Trent off of Cassidy. He then stared at him. He extends his arms for a hug. Fans booed. Callis moved in for the hug, and then they did the best friends hug and the zoom out of the camera with Callis and Trent Beretta. I actually quite like that. I thought that was great. Callis stepped on Orange Cassidy's body, and Trent got a couple of cheap shots on Orange Cassidy before the segment ended, and the fans started chanting, "You sold out. You sold out." I think Don Callis is great. I love Don Callis. He's fucking great. I don't care about anything to do with Orange Cassidy here or Trent Beretta. I don't. I have zero emotional investment in this. I don't care. I didn't care when this started. I didn't care about the best friends, and I don't care about it now. I didn't care about their match at Double or Nothing. I don't care. And a lot of people feel the same way that I do. Nobody cares. But the positive to come out of this, if they wanted to break up the best friends and Chuck Taylor cannot wrestle anymore, and Trent is not going to be a part of Orange Cassidy's AEW run moving forward, the best place for him to be is with a major, genuine, legit heel magnet like Don Callis. There is no better place for Trent Beretta to be than in the Don Callis family. So we might not like it. We might not care. There might not be any emotion in it. But the fact of the matter is, Trent Beretta is a lot better off with Don Callis than he would be on his own. Again, I'm going to go back to the pay-per-view. I don't know why we got the pay-per-view match with these two. I don't know why that was included on the show when they did this segment, which theoretically would give us, or should give us, another match between the two now that he's in the Don Callis family and he beat up Orange Cassidy. It would be a natural progression to lead to another match. Don't know why they did it at the pay-per-view when the pay-per-view match obviously served as nothing. It was a nothing burger. It really wasn't. We all knew where this was going, and it was pretty much in motion before the pay-per-view. So the pay-per-view match didn't even need to happen. This is a good spot for Trent. Where it goes, I don't know. The landscape of AEW is quite vast. Where Trent Beretta fits on the AEW card, even with the heat magnet like Don Callis, though it might be the best spot for him, I don't really see much coming out of this. Will Ospreay got a graphic that he will defend the International Championship on Collision this Saturday against Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, are we just picking random names out of a hat here, TK? What are we doing? Why do we need Will Ospreay to be defending his new International Championship against Kyle O'Reilly? I don't understand it. What has Kyle O'Reilly done to get an International Championship match? What has he done? When was the last time he was in the ring? He was wrestling Adam Copeland for the TNT Championship. He lost. Now he's getting a shot at Will Ospreay. Oh, but Will Ospreay's championship is like a TV championship, man. How about we stop with the fucking random open challenges? Will Ospreay's way too good and should not be used for a fucking open challenge title. Ridiculous. Renee Paquette was backstage with Matt Menard and Daniel Garcia. He says he's tired of being stuck in the same place. I'm tired of watching mediocre television. I know how you feel. Says he's tired of being stuck in the same place, trudging through mud. Said some people have so much confidence and get everything they want. He says he might be ready to go after the International Championship despite Ospreay being the champion. He says he's going to climb the rankings and make his bags lighter on the international flights, respectfully. At least Danny Garcia has brought some logic to the table here. After a couple of wins, I'm going to come after you. I don't want shit being given to me. I want to work for it. I want to accumulate some wins, and then I want the right to challenge Will Ospreay when the time is right. That's how shit should work. That's what the rankings are here for, that AEW doesn't abide by. Great. Mercedes Moné. She went one-on-one with Sky Blue. This is a TBS championship match. Sky Blue was the one who was revealed to be the attacker for Mercedes several weeks ago, where everybody thought that AEW probably forgot about that aspect of Mercedes' story going into Double or Nothing. Sky Blue, let's go to Cage Match to see what Sky Blue has been doing here for the TBS Championship. A lot of people were like, oh, well, this is a good spot for her to be in because this could propel her up the card and make her look better than she was. Great. Thank you, AEW Virgin, on social media. I don't need any lip from people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Sky Blue, what's she been doing as of late, huh? Let's go to the match list. Let's see. AEW TBS Championship match on May 1st in a Manitoba Massacre match. Willow Nightingale beats Sky Blue to retain the TBS title in 10 minutes on AEW Rampage. Wow, man. Wow, Sky Blue just this month wrestled for the TBS Championship in a match against the former champion and lost. Wow, man, the question is, did she do anything since then to deserve another opportunity at the title? Let's find out. Let's find out. The only other match she had all month was on Ring of Honor. What? Ring of Honor. What is that? What is that? Oh, it's AEW Dark disguised as Ring of Honor. Oh, is that what they're doing with that now? She's over there. She's on the app. She's wrestling in front of what? 30 people. How many people are subscribed to Honor Club who watch the show weekly? 5? Wow, man. They're worse off than Impact nowadays, huh? Jesus Christ. Holy shit. Sky Blue wrestled Rachel Ellering on May 8th. Wow. What has she done since that match? Absolutely jack shit. 0. Hey, man, let's give her a TBS Championship match after she just lost a TBS Championship match against Willow on May 1st of this month. What are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, do we just give random championship matches out to anybody? Is that what we're doing? It would have been fine if you did Mercedes, attacked by Sky Blue, grudge match happening tonight. Now, let's just make it a championship match and give Sky Blue a championship match that she clearly did nothing to deserve. 0. Do you see how this works here? I love for one of you AEW cultists to defend this, honestly. What has she done? And I'm a Sky Blue guy. I think Sky Blue is great. But what are we doing? The show feels like it was written 15 minutes before it went on the air. Who won the fucking match? Did Sky Blue win the match? Of course not. The match went fucking 8 minutes. Mercedes wins and retains the TBS title. Mercedes looked good. Glad to see Mercedes moving around well. Glad to see Mercedes wrestling on Dynamite. Finally. We got her wrestling twice in 3 days. It took us 2 months to get this fucking woman back in the ring. Mone avoided an early charge by Sky Blue and fired off some forearms. Mone hit a springboard arm drag and a drop kick. She goes for cover. She gets a 1 count. Blue was sent to the outside with a Mercedes head scissor. Meteora off the apron, which looked brutal, by the way, not because of how she executed it on Sky Blue. Mercedes looked like she overshot Sky Blue, and it was more knees on the floor than knees to Sky Blue, which I don't think we need Mercedes taking those types of risks so early on, and especially to the lower extremities. We know the woman is injury prone. We don't need any knee issues, ankle issues, leg issues. That looked like it sucked. She throws Sky Blue back in the ring. She gets a 2 count. Sky Blue fires back. Kick in between the ropes when Mercedes was trying to get back in the ring. Big draping neck breaker as Mercedes was hung up in the ropes. And we go to a commercial break. Mercedes, after the break, is battling back in the corner. Series of corner kicks. Sunset flip Meteora for 2. Backstabber. Mone took a little bit too long. And Sky Blue cut her off in the corner with some cheeky Nandos. Mone, however, avoided a powerbomb into a Hurricane Rana. Sky Blue comes back with a big move. Mone dodged a TKO, and both ladies trade super kicks. Sky Blue wanted Cold Blue. Mone countered with the Mone Maker, which looked great. This one looked great. A lot better than the one she did to Willow. She hits the Mone Maker on Sky Blue for the 1, 2, 3. That was it. Match went 8 minutes, if that. Man, what a way to tell off or bring to a conclusion the Mercedes Mone, who attacked Mercedes several weeks ago on Dynamite, man. What a way to fucking wrap that shit up, huh? Yeah, let's blow through Sky Blue. You mean to tell me that AEW did all that for this? That's the level of effort that AEW has taken now with their angles. If they put no effort into the fucking angle, then why am I going to put any emotional effort into what they're doing? Yet all I hear from the fucking cultists and the virgins online that support this garbage is they tell stories. Really? This is the amount of storytelling that you find desirable? This is the amount of storytelling that you want on the show? I feel dumber for watching this play out. Man, oh man, please tell me you guys enjoy mediocrity without telling me you enjoy mediocrity. Either that or the fucking creative team here are dumber than a box of fucking rocks. Who the fuck is writing this shit? This honestly felt like, hey, Mercedes, before you go out there, we gotta wrap up this storyline about who attacked you. Legitimately, it felt like it was written in 5 fucking minutes. Like they forgot, and before she went out there to do her celebration, they said, hey, we're going to wrap this up right now. That's going to be Sky Blue. Shouldn't you have made it into a bigger deal? Or do we not give a fuck? Honestly. Now, remember when I said the opening segment was shit? And how underwhelming Sky Blue was as the attacker? For weeks, we waited. Who attacked Mercedes? Us, Sky Blue. Wow, man. Wow, man. Let me show some fake excitement like these fucking people on TikTok who fucking live stream this shit with their fans. Post-match, Mercedes raised her title in the air, and out comes Stephanie Vacker holding the New Japan Strong Women's title. Both ladies hold up their titles, and obviously, without an official announcement, we know which direction they are going for the Forbidden Door. Now, a lot of people are asking, well, what about Toni Storm? I believe Toni Storm may be wrestling Mina Shirakawa at the pay-per-view, being that Mina Shirakawa, man. Mina is mingling with Mariah May, and they got that whole angle going on there. I think Toni may be wrestling Mina, maybe. Or maybe they got something else better for it, Toni Storm. I have no fucking idea. But that's where I think they're going to kind of consolidate that. So this is a rematch from several years ago, and I think this is going to be one of the best matches of the entire night. This is why Mercedes ended up joining AEW, for shit like this. This is the reason. Obviously the money, but Mercedes wants to make a global impact. She wants a global revolution. She was not going to be able to do this in WWE. This is one of the perks of why she wanted to come to AEW, on top of obviously being paid. Now, remember when I said Sky Blue was underwhelming? If AEW, the best that they had was Sky Blue, I am genuinely asking this as a fan who's been doing this for quite some time. And I want you guys to chime in as well. Maybe you guys are thinking the same way that I am. I genuinely don't understand why they thought Sky Blue was the best that they had. If they knew Stephanie Vacker was going to be the match for Mercedes at the Forbidden Door, why couldn't we, before tonight, play up the fact that Stephanie Vacker was acting on behalf of the House of Black, or Julia Hart, or Sky Blue, or both of them together, that she was acting on behalf of the House of Black and Julia Hart, and she was the attacker over Mercedes? Why can't we weave that in to give this match not just the big match feel for Forbidden Door, but maybe tie in that dead story with this and make some sense of it? Why couldn't it be that? Why couldn't we weave that and Stephanie Vacker into that and have her be revealed as the attacker? What the fuck did we need Sky Blue for? I don't get it. You could have just made the match with Sky Blue if you wanted to. That would have been a little bit more impactful. It would have given the dream match at the pay-per-view a little oomph. I don't get it. It's almost as if they don't give a shit about making sense of anything. So Sky Blue was the attacker. Goodbye. She loses in 8 minutes. We deaded that. Or maybe they just genuinely don't give a shit, realize that they wanted to move Mercedes onto Stephanie Vacker, and they realized, hey, man, we're not going to linger with this too long. Nobody gives a fuck. We don't give a shit. The fans don't give a shit. We'll just get this shit out of the way and move Mercedes onto Stephanie. But nobody will fucking complain about the lack of creative in AEW, and it's truly bothersome. It really is. There's not one creative brain cell between anybody there. It's fucking ridiculous. Renee. She was outside the trainer's room when Stokely Hathaway and Chris Statlander ran her off. They're in some mood. Hathaway reviewed the March 27th four-way match when Statlander said she wanted to become the TBS champion again. He says he listened to her. Most of these bitches get a sinus infection and they don't want to show up for work. And I'm talking about the men, not the women. he handed the mic to the new and improved Chris Statlander. She said she finally did something for herself, and she gets booed. She called the fans spineless, selfish people. I am done being the protector, and now you're all going to need protection from me. I thought Stat sounded great. She came off great, and I think Stokely is doing a fantastic job as of late. So good on them. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do together, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Stat does in this new women's division. Willow and Stat should be a banger. I love the fact also that we're getting a storyline that doesn't involve a women's championship. We start weaving those stories in on top of the championship programs. We got something cooking in the women's division. We got a video recap airing on the return of MJF at the pay-per-view on Sunday. No MJF tonight, which is rather bizarre. You're going to get me, Tony Khan is going to get me to agree with these fucking half-witted idiots from Fightful who complained all weekend, well, why didn't you get MJF on the pay-per-view to cut a 15-minute promo? I don't know. Maybe because the pay-per-view is going to have a lot more eyeballs on it than a fucking random Dynamite. It was a big deal. MJF not being on the show, I'm not going to sit here and be too bothered by it. Would I have booked MJF on the show tonight? Sure. Is he doing something at Forbidden Door? We don't know. If he's not, does he need to be here? Not really. AEW did nothing to promote MJF for being on this show, but they're giving you 7 days notice that MJF is going to be on next week's show and he's going to have a live microphone in his hand. That is all I need to know. So I'm not too bothered by MJF being off the show, but it does make it a little bizarre that he played out the angle that he did on Sunday and we don't hear from him on Wednesday. Again, not too bothered by it. I'm sure he's going to have a lot of important news and information to tell us on Wednesday. And it gives us something to look forward to. The Young Bucks. They make their way out to the ring. They are out here to address the now vacated TNT Championship that Adam Copeland had to give up because he jumped off a 20-foot steel cage and broke his leg. Ridiculous today on social media, man. The AEW cultists out there actually defending the jump off the cage by saying, he's his own man. He can do whatever he wants. Meanwhile, Jason and I, Salamonster and I, discussed this last night and said that it was foolish. That the spot didn't need to happen because it would have had no bearing on how good the match already was. Why do we need a 50-year-old Adam Copeland jumping off the fucking steel cage, risking breaking his leg? Jason said that as a fan, he would be angered over the fact that he's now out for 6 to 7 months. He'll be missing Forbidden Door. He'll be missing All In. Second year in a row, he's missing All In. He came in October last year and missed the show by 2 months last year. Now he's on the active full-time roster and going to miss it now because he decided to jump off a fucking 20-foot steel cage and break his fucking leg. I'm not upset that you guys are upset. I'm upset that you can't see the fucking reason as to why we made it a topical discussion. Tony Khan and management. It ends with Tony. It starts with Tony and ends with Tony. Why is AEW allowing a 50-year-old Adam Copeland to go up top and jump off to break his leg? At no point did anybody say, hey, man, that's not a good idea. I don't think that would be in your best interests. Maybe we could do something else. Maybe we could just take you off the top rope and not jump off the fucking steel cage. No, but Adam Copeland wanted to do what Adam Copeland wanted to do. Adam Copeland's going to do what Adam Copeland wants to do. But who runs the fucking company? Does Adam Copeland work for Adam Copeland, or does Adam Copeland work for Tony Khan? Tony Khan owns AEW. Adam Copeland works for Tony Khan. Tony Khan needs to step in and say, absolutely fucking no. Now we are without Adam Copeland for the rest of the year. Is that fair? That's all we tried to discuss. Tony wants to go out there and say AEW is the safest place to work, but every fucking week, someone's getting dropped on their neck. I mean, for Christ's sakes, we got Will Ospreay almost dying on Sunday. Darby Allin was setting people on fire. He was hanging upside down for about 5 minutes while he was being beaten with super kicks that had thumbtacks on them. Mind you, he broke his foot 3 months ago. He got hit by a bus a month ago. And all of a sudden, he's in an Anarchy in the Arena match. People legitimately defended Copeland jumping off the cage and doing the spot. Blindly. Oh, we can do whatever he wants. No, we can't. No, we can't. Do you want to know why none of this shit happened in WWE? Do you want to know why they don't allow people to jump off fucking Hell in a Cells anymore? It's because they actually have real leadership. I'm sure Adam Copeland wanted to jump off Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania last year with Finn Balor. They let him do anything else that he wanted within the confines of that cage. Do you know what they probably said no to? Adam, no, you're not jumping off Hell in a Cell. You're not falling off Hell in a Cell. Because they legitimately have leaders there. I don't see any leadership in AEW. Otherwise, Adam Copeland would still be on the fucking show as TNT champion, and he'd be wrestling at All In. So all the months that we wasted watching Adam Copeland have a great time and defend his championship and give us great matches, now all is for nothing. All is for nothing. Who's to blame? Is Adam Copeland to blame? Or is AEW to blame for allowing that spot to happen? That's what we discussed. 50 years old. He should not be up 25 feet in the air jumping off of a fucking cage. Ridiculous how people defended this shit. I became dumber for reading people's comments today on social media. Are you really telling Adam Copeland what to do? You motherfucking believe I'm telling Adam Copeland what to fucking do. He's being paid to entertain, and I'm being paid by you guys to sit here and tell you the fucking truth. And I'm paying my money to watch him wrestle, not break his fucking leg. What are we doing here? MJF comes back, we'll just put Adam Copeland on the fucking DL. Why can't we have everybody healthy at the same fucking time? I don't get it. We sit here and feel like Tony Khan has a collection of fucking toys. It's exactly what they are. These are his toys. They're in his toy chest all week. And then on Wednesday, he opens up his toy chest and makes his fun little matches happen on Wednesday night. Now he's like trading fucking baseball cards. Oh man, I just got my MJF card back. We'll put Adam Copeland's card in the fucking sleeve and put it away on the shelf. Adam Copeland didn't want to be at All In? Maybe next year. And when Tony Khan wants to wonder, why is the interest low? Why are the ratings low? Why is everybody picking on me? Why is this? Why is that? Woe is me. AEW. Look at the fucking people you have on the disabled list. You could make fucking 6 video game DLCs with the amount of fucking star power you got on that disabled list. You could have All In for 2 nights with the fucking amount of people on that disabled list. If you actually fucking led the goddamn company and had people underneath you telling these guys, no. Maybe not drop everybody on their fucking head every single week, on the apron, pile driver, steel steps, let's do this, let's do that. This ain't some fucking video game, man, where they got an energy bar and they're building up supers and finishers. This is real life. If you're a fan of Adam Copeland and you were expecting him, if you paid money already to go sit at Wembley Stadium and you were expecting to see Adam Copeland, who, by the way, is already on the fucking graphic for All In, and he's not there now because AEW allowed him to go up top and jump 25 feet off the steel cage to break his fucking leg, now having him miss the show, you're not fucking pissed? And people tried to spin it that I'm unhappy, or I'm happy that Adam Copeland broke his leg. I seen somebody trying to spin it like, oh, JD's happy Adam Copeland broke his leg. Look at this guy complaining about it. Well, I mean, the shit that I read today is ridiculous. The whole point of the matter is I don't want Copeland to break his fucking leg. I want Copeland on my TV. He was the best thing about the fucking show. I don't know who watches this show wanting these guys to fucking kill themselves. Do I want to be entertained? Sure I do. Do I want to see people break their fucking limbs? No, I don't. No, I don't. Guarantee you, a lot of these guys look at what they do and wish they could have a take back. You don't think MJF, I don't want to put words in his fucking mouth because the match was tremendous anyway. You don't think MJF would want to go back and maybe do things a little bit differently after diving off the fucking top rope onto Jay White through a fucking table on the outside that was already broken, and he further injured his hip? Did that spot need to happen? I said the same thing there. Is that me being a fucking cynic and a critical asshole? No, it's not. It's me being a fucking fan of what Max does because I don't want to see him fucking get hurt any more than he already was. Shit like that don't need to happen. It doesn't. It had no bearing on what the match was going to end up being. It was already a great match before then. Same thing with Copeland. Same thing with Copeland. Oh, I got ahead of myself. He had all the time in the fucking world to not do it. You spent fucking 2 minutes wrapping the fucking guy in barbed wire. You spent another 5 minutes jumping up there, getting up there. You had all the time in the world to say, you know what, man, this is not the best thing for me to be doing right now, this late in the fucking match at 50 years old. I don't want to sit here and tell you Punk was right. An indie mindset, and they don't give a shit about anything there. Who's running the fucking show? Clearly, it's not Tony Khan. That's the whole point of the whole fucking discussion. It should be. We pay money to see Copeland. Now, he's out, and he's going to be gone for the rest of the year. You, as a fan, have every fucking right to be upset. Oh, but it's for our entertainment. Sure. Sure. So Copeland is no longer the TNT champion. The Young Bucks, the Elite, Okada, Jack Perry, they're in the ring. We get a huge CM Punk chant in the Kia Forum. And Okada takes the microphone and says, hey. Shut up, bitches. Promo of the year. Promo of the year. Fans laughed and then started to chant, Okada, Okada. Perry said the Elite run this shit. He said the other guys set him on fire, yet they still won Anarchy in the arena. He says he pinned one of the greatest wrestlers who ever lived in Bryan Danielson. Nick said it's been a fantastic week for the Elite. He talked about their sneaker line selling out. Nick pointed to the big screen and says they got Okada a gift. A Lamborghini, a beautiful one, by the way, sped into the parking lot with a license plate that said Rainmaker. Great. Okada was moved. He began to cry. Nick started a "You Deserve It" chant. "I love you guys," says Okada. He said, "A Double or Nothing, Adam Copeland was badly injured." He said before the cage match, he wished Copeland luck and said, "Go out there and break a leg." He says he thinks he jinxed him. He says they're praying for him and he'll come back stronger. He said as EVPs, they have to make a tough decision. They stripped Copeland of the TNT title. He says the network is on their case and insists on a new champion. We know just the guy. They were about to award the TNT title to Jack Perry due to pinning Bryan Danielson at Anarchy in the Arena on Sunday. I said as much on social media. These guys are going to give the fucking title to Jack Perry for doing absolutely nothing, aren't they? That's exactly where they were going with this. Christopher Daniels walked out and says he doesn't need a severance package anymore because Tony Khan has now named him the interim executive vice president, I'm assuming to take Kenny Omega's position until Omega comes back, and he will now speak for Tony Khan. He insists they refer to him by his God-given name, Christopher. So it looks like they're making Christopher Daniels an on-screen character. Great. Said this weeks ago when they fired him. Who gives a shit about Christopher Daniels being fired when he wasn't a proponent on television or an on-screen character for 5 years? The firing of Christopher Daniels went over like a fart in church. Daniels picked up the TNT title belt that was standing on a podium at ringside. He says, there will be qualifying matches. No outside interference. No managers, no one at ringside in the upcoming weeks. And the winners will wrestle at Forbidden Door to win the vacant TNT title in a ladder match. He said the first qualifier will be on Friday Night Dynamite. He meant Rampage. Matt Jackson says they should show him how happy they are he's back in AEW. He claimed, and Billy Gunn walked out and stood by Christopher Daniels. The Elite were at ringside, and by this, I feel like either Anthony Bowens or Max Caster will be a part of one of the matches coming up on Rampage. Not exactly what we need, but I'm not surprised. You want the TNT Championship to be defended and to be looked at as a highly sought-after championship. I don't know why we're putting Max Caster and Anthony Bowens in the field of people competing for the title. There's nobody else. I don't understand this fucking company. I said this about the Owen. I don't want to see any lower-tier guys in the Owen if the World Championship is going to be on the line. I don't. You should be putting the best of the best in this fucking tournament. You should be putting the best of the best in these qualifying matches to go on to Forbidden Door. How many of them are there? I don't know. How many qualifying matches will there be? I don't know. As long as there's not a tournament. Everybody was joking, oh, Tony's just going to do another tournament on top of another tournament. Thank God there isn't. Now, Jason and I discussed this on TNT last night. I thought that they were going to give the title to Jack Perry. I thought that Jay White and Pac would make good candidates for the TNT title. Jason tends to think that Jack Perry is a good candidate for the title, which I don't mind, which would give the Elite a lot of titles in AEW, making their power stronger. But he said something similar to what they did here tonight. Qualifying matches, we got a fatal four-way at Forbidden Door for the TNT Championship. So they just replaced his idea of fatal four-way or gauntlet match, whatever, and included ladder match. Now, how many matches are there going to be? I don't know. I could see anywhere between 4 to 6. 6, maybe? 6 is a nice number for a ladder match to get more people involved, being that it is a joint show with other promotions. I would keep it at a minimum for a match per week leading up to Forbidden Door, but knowing Tony Khan, there'll probably be fucking 12 guys in this fucking thing. Jack Perry is looking like the favorite to win the TNT title. This was basically an Easter egg. They wanted to give him the title. He's going to have to earn the title, and he's going to win the title. There's nobody else. Prince Nana and Swerve talked about beating Christian Cage at Double or Nothing. He held up the ponytail that he cut from Luchasaurus. He says he's curious to see who his next challenger will be. We got a soundbite and a backstage promo from Roosh. He congratulated MJF on his return. He says he will start with him. He says if you mess with the bull, you will get the horns. Why are we booking MJF in a match against Roosh? Why? Why does MJF need to wrestle in his first week back? I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe I'm not seeing something. Why can't we just have him come out, get a fucking promo for Forbidden Door, an opponent for Forbidden Door, and then enter him in the fucking Owen Hart Cup Invitational? I don't know. Yeah, he didn't say, what'd he say? The Hearns. You mess with the bull, you get the Hearns. Yeah. Casino Battle Royale. Winner receives an AEW World Championship match against Swerve Strickland at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view at the UBS Arena on June 30th on Long Island. Match started with 43 minutes to the top of the hour. And we get a lot of names in this thing. I didn't know how many names were in this thing, but it just looked like people kept coming out one after the other. I didn't know who was in this thing going into it. I didn't know when the names were going to stop. There was a bunch of people in here. But I'll tell you what, man, this was fucking great. This was some good television. This was easily the best thing on the entire show. So we start with Jay White. Jay White and Pac were the first two entrants. Pac wasted no time looking for revenge after what happened at Double or Nothing because the Bang Bang Gang beat the Death Triangle in the Trios Championship match at Double or Nothing. Hits a spinning dive outside, shotgun drop kick back inside. White got off some offense. Out comes entrant number 3, Mystico. He's out there. He looked good. Very quick sequence with Pac. Sent him to the floor with White. Mystico goes up top, hits a big cross-body dive off the top rope. Things go to commercials, and we go to a commercial break. We come back from break. Will Ospreay is entrant number 4. I was asking myself, I don't know why he was even in this thing. He's the international champion. Shouldn't he be doing his own thing? I was quite surprised to see Will Ospreay in this battle royale. So Pac and Ospreay face off. Crowd is going crazy for Will Ospreay. Corkscrew kick. Pac nearly slid in. Stole the pin on a roll-up for 2. Pac and Ospreay. They continue to go at it. Mystico flies in off the top, hitting La Mystica on Ospreay. Ospreay, he was in a submission. And before he could tap, we got entrant number 5. Shota Umino entered. And he got chance of Shooter from Los Angeles. Umino gets in there. He starts throwing some bombs with Mystico. And they did put over how Jon Moxley is a mentor for Shota Umino. I would not be surprised if that's the match at Forbidden Door for Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley defending the title against Shota Umino. I could see it. We got a beautiful sequence with Ospreay and Umino. Great stuff. And the commentary team said that these guys have quite the history together in New Japan. Big flashy moves, slingshot DDTs, and the crowd went crazy for their exchange. Out comes Claudio at number 6. Claudio Castagnoli. He comes in. White ran for high ground. He got out of dodge, throwing guys in his path for Claudio to hit him instead. Claudio caught White in the giant swing, and we go to a commercial break. We saw giant swings during the picture-in-picture commercial break for everybody, really, from Claudio. So Claudio nearly gave a swing to Bryce Remsburg because he was giving out swings to everybody during the commercial break. Entrant number 7 was Lio Rush. Now, I'd love if Lio Rush gets a match at Forbidden Door. I'm a big Lio Rush guy. I think Lio Rush is great. In fact, a small part of me wanted Lio Rush to win this match because I think what Lio Rush and Swerve would do in that ring would be fucking phenomenal work. He comes in as entrant number 7. He hits the ring. He used his speed and his agility to dodge Claudio. Really nice exchange between Lio Rush and Claudio. Lio Rush and Shota Umino had a trade off, but both were run down by Claudio. Out comes Orange Cassidy at number 8. He slowly walked out because he got beat up by Trent Beretta. He had a bandage over his head because Trent left him bleeding. Cassidy blocked a suplex into a Stun Dog Millionaire, spinning DDT on Claudio. Cassidy stumbled away. Ospreay comes in, hits Hidden Blade, or he wound up rather for Hidden Blade, hesitated. White flew in with a sleeper suplex and a Uranage as Cassidy fought off a Blade Runner by Jay White. I thought Jay White was going to win this thing. Number 9, Hechicero from CMLL. He's out there. He ran wild wheelbarrow on Ospreay, and he almost rolled up Cassidy for a 2 count. Mystico comes off. Top rope Hurricane Rana on Hechicero. Match starts to pick up. We see everybody getting some last desperation moves in. Speed all over the place. Dives all over the place. Umino with a pump knee on Cassidy. He comes back. Orange Punch. Pac tried for a Black Arrow on Jay White. But just like at Double or Nothing, Juice Robinson ran out. And he stopped Pac from hitting the Black Arrow and crotch Pac on the top turnbuckle. Jay White wanted a Blade Runner on Orange Cassidy. And they were teasing Jay White winning this thing. And the crowd booed because I think they wanted Jay White to win this thing too. Ospreay flew in with a Hidden Blade. Stormbreaker attempt was countered by Orange Cassidy into a Snap Runner for 2. Ospreay answered with the Os Cutter, and he wins the match. 1, 2, 3. And Will Ospreay is getting the World Championship match against Swerve Strickland at Forbidden Door. Post-match, Swerve walked out from the back with Nana, had a face-off with Ospreay to close the show. This is the main event for AEW Forbidden Door for the AEW World Championship. This was a great match. This was a fun match. I think the craziness of this, the unpredictability of it was great. I like the crapshoot that it was because I know everybody's like, where's the story? Where's the story? Where's the story? But I like this, man. An all-star match to get a big world championship match at the pay-per-view. I liked it. I thought this was great. Great seeing Lio Rush out there. Shota Umino and Will Ospreay had a great back and forth. I love to see the appreciation for Jay White and Pac. Right, you got some CMLL representation in there with Hechicero and Mystico. That was great stuff. And a lot of these guys, I could have seen. Tony Khan did a really good job of picking some guys in this thing that I could honestly see winning the match. Now, Orange Cassidy probably not. But everybody else I could have seen winning the match. I could have seen Shota Umino winning the match. I could have seen Pac winning the match. Could have seen Jay White winning the match. I could have seen Lio Rush win the match. But in the end, he went with his guy. He went with his top guy, and that's Will Ospreay. That is a main event. That is a main event people are going to want to pay to see. But does AEW have a plan? I talked about this in the beginning of the show. Tonight, I am concerned that Swerve's title run is nearing its end already. And we will look back on this title run, and there will be nothing of substance here. A lot of people already think that he's keeping the belt warm for Will Ospreay. This match is going to further that narrative on social media. What does Tony Khan do here? I told you what I would do, and I told you what I think Tony Khan should already be thinking. Swerve winning over Ospreay. I do not want to see this match go 30 minutes for a time limit. I don't want to see it. I would rather Swerve get the victory now and solidify him as the guy for now, getting a win over Ospreay. Ospreay will not take this loss and look bad for it. You give Swerve a big victory over Will Ospreay here, his entire title run looks vastly different than people are already talking how bad it is, or being compared to how people are already talking about how bad it is. Him beating Ospreay is a big deal. Ospreay losing this match, it does nothing to him. People don't want to see a main event end in a 30-minute time limit. Swerve wins. If Ospreay wants the World Championship, continue the story of him entering the Owen and winning the Owen and getting the championship rematch at Wembley and him beating Swerve in Wembley. That works. I don't see them telling any other story between these two because they're too lazy to tell and write out some great dialogue. So for Ospreay to lose, win the Owen, go to Wembley and get the championship rematch, I could see them doing that. Or there's this little X factor known as Maxwell Jacob Friedman. I could see Ospreay winning at Forbidden Door, becoming the champion, MJF winning the World Championship getting the Owen rather, and the championship match, and wrestling Ospreay at All In. But what is in the back of Tony Khan's mind? Ospreay walking in as the champion or winning the championship there? It's more memorable if he wins the championship at Wembley, no? It's a very difficult decision. One that he has to carefully orchestrate. Otherwise, people will be fucking pissed. Because the Swerve title run right now has not gotten off to a great start. And by the looks of it, you're already looking to end it before it even has any legs of its own to stand on. I don't know. I could see MJF Swerve. I could see MJF Ospreay. I could see Ospreay Swerve. Those are the three components going into All In. How Tony gets us there, I don't know. But one thing is for certain. Swerve doesn't look to be walking out of Wembley as the world champion. Thank you for a great post show, man. I hope you guys enjoyed what we did here tonight. We are going to get into the super chats in just a second. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Adam Page. I see you guys mentioning Adam Page. I could see Adam Page being an X factor as well. Swerve versus Hangman at Wembley. Swerve wins the tournament? I don't know. Adam Page rather wins the tournament to get the Swerve? I don't know. I'm not going to complain about that if that's the case, but is that something they want to do at Wembley again for a fourth time? I don't know. Or what would it be? Their third time? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, man. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all of the other content on the channel. There's plenty of it. Monday night, we were live. Tuesday night for Tuesday Night Titans, episode 50 with the Salamonster. Live. I might have an extra for you tomorrow. We got some news. Ethan Page, now NXT. Jordan Grace, now NXT. And it's not just for Battleground. She will be on NXT after Battleground as well. And she's being paid for her appearances pretty well. Hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,000 likes. We're 150 likes away from 1,000. And super chats are open. Get them on in. Let's hang out. Tommy Brannigan with a membership re-up. Thank you, Tommy. Michael Krause with the $2 super chat. Good day, JD and Jesse and OTS family. Thank you, Michael. Wrestling Bro 91. $4.99. JD and Andrew Baydala are telling a better story on Twitter with each other than a lot of AEW. Drew is a fan of what I do, and I am a fan of what Drew does. I don't see what the problem is. Drew and I talk quite frequently, weekly. I don't understand why everybody's making a big deal out of nothing. Thank you, Wrestling Bro. Joseph Taylor with an $8 super chat. JD, your favorite underrated SummerSlam pay-per-view. My favorite underrated SummerSlam is 2006. 1993. I think 1993 is a very underrated SummerSlam. I enjoyed it. Jerry the King Lawler versus Bret the Hitman Hart. First of all, it was Jerry the King Lawler coming out, pretending like he was injured, so Bret had to wrestle Doink the Clown, which was a great fucking match. And then Jerry Lawler played him like a fool. Joseph Taylor, thank you for the $8. Michelle with a 2. 3 words. This show sucked. And now R.I.P. Swerve. Not yet. Not yet. Drew is constantly throwing shots on X. Where? If you guys think that Drew is throwing shots and you don't think I'm going to take shots back, he's not taking shots. MGM with a 199. Swerve winning the belts was here. Shut the fuck up to the fans. The more that we see things unfold, MGM, you may be correct. Dwayne Jackson, $200 super chat. Dwayne, thank you so much for your generosity, brother. He says, I don't get it. Is AEW trying to derail Swerve by fast-tracking Will Ospreay to the world title? I like Will, but save him for the Owen Cup. Let Swerve's title run breathe until All In, or Will, or whoever is ready to take the belt off of him. They are doing a disservice to Swerve. I could see Ospreay losing to Swerve at Forbidden Door. This is what I said earlier. And him win the Owen. I could see it. What I'm thinking is, MJ, I hope Adam Cole comes back, man, sooner rather than later. Adam Cole's got to be ready by All In. He's got to be ready. I'd like to see MJF in the tournament take an L. And Adam Cole be the reason for that. MJF, Adam Cole, Wembley, rematch from last year. Swerve and Ospreay, main event. Toni Storm versus Mariah May for the Women's Championship. That's what I'm looking for. It all depends on if Adam Cole is ready to go. Thank you, Dwayne. Appreciate you, brother. Tony Brown with a $4.99. This wasn't an exciting show, but Swerve versus Will Ospreay is interesting. But I do know you guys will bring it tonight. Thank you, Tony. I did post earlier in the day that Jesse wasn't going to be here, so a lot of you guys might have missed the tweet. Clearly, I was riding solo tonight. Jesse was at his daughter's graduation tonight, enjoying a night off for a good reason. Gold Standard with a $5 super chat. Swerve is a WWE guy, even though he got fired. He was WWE. He has WWE DNA. WWE is the best, baby. Nobody's comparing companies here, Gold Standard. I don't know why you're comparing companies. We wouldn't have Swerve the way we have Swerve now if he was in WWE. That is a fact. I could see, listen, man, Mercedes versus Britt, I could see that. I don't know where Britt is. I've asked Britt personally when she's coming back. She hasn't told me shit. David with a $100 super chat. He says, hey, JD, I don't want to disrespect Jericho's HOF resume as a competitor, and it's obviously great for legends to coach young talent, but I'm getting Charlie Brown Christmas tree vibes from this learning tree gimmick. Am I too harsh here? Please be honest. Hashtag OTS for life. No, brother, you are not being harsh here, man. I don't like it. And I've been with Jericho every Every iteration of Jericho that there was, I praised it. This is the one time I'm not feeling what he's doing. Listen, man, you go 9 out of 10. You're still batting 900. Not everybody's perfect. Thank you, David, for the generosity, man, and the $100 Super Chat. Siren with a 18 months. From the first day to now, 18 months down. Here's to many more. OTS for life. Siren, thank you so much, my friend. Jason Barker with a $100 Super Chat. He says, how's it going, y'all? I'm just letting y'all know that I'm getting a second job and we'll be working both jobs. So wrestling will be on the back burner. I'm just enjoying this while I can. I love the OTS venue with all my heart. Jason, we love you too, brother. Good luck doing your second job, man. Go make that money. Soldier for Truth with a $1.99 said seeing Andrew criticize TNT on X. What did he say? I thought he was a little foolish for saying what he said about Adam Copeland. I firmly stand behind what I feel about Adam Copeland and the injury. I wish him nothing but a speedy recovery, and I love that man dearly. It's one of my favorites of all time. Do I want to see him get hurt? No, I don't. But I also know that the match probably didn't need that spot either. Zero Kaiba, 25 months. Hey, JD, today's my birthday. I turned 23 today. I've been a fan of the channel since I was 16 years old. I'm truly OTS for life. You ready for the final shape? Brother, you have no idea how ready for the final shape I am. In fact, as soon as I get out of here, man, I'm going to jump into some Onslaught. I'm still chasing a fucking mountaintop with auto-loading, holster, and recombination, man. I have no shinies drop this week. They said they upped the rates. Where? And happy birthday, Zero. Everybody leave some birthday cake emojis for Zero Kaiba in the chat. 25 months as a VIP. Basic with a $4.99. Swerve versus Ospreay. Soft conditioning the fan base for the inevitable when Swerve loses his title. Jimmy Belenko with a $10 Super Chat. It's so frustrating. I became a fan of wrestling again thanks to AEW. Now they're making the same mistakes WWE makes, including changing scripts at the last second. We need consistent stories. Yeah. Brian Alvarez put a story out saying that it's more like WWE 2019 than AEW 2019. I believe every fucking word that Brian Alvarez said in that report today. Every fucking word. Demeter Bullion, you got it. Yeah, I know, but do you with a $7.99? He says, sing this shanty. Oh, way ho. El da ho. El da ho. Oh, way ho. El da ho. El da ho. I know you are Mo. Yeah, you're Mo. Yeah, you're Mo. I don't know that tune, Demeter. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, bro. Edward with a $4.99. Like when WWE before Vince left, is it okay to just listen to your reviews for an uninspired AEW and watch AEW again when it's good again, if ever? Well, Edward, I would tell you if it's good or bad or in between. But if you don't watch the show, you really don't miss much. It is truly a case that if you guys want to skip out on watching the show to do anything else and catch up on clips via YouTube, you're good to go. Gone are the days of CM Punk and MJF cutting a 20-minute fucking promo on each other. Billy with a $200 bomb. Thank you so very much for the donation, Billy. David M. with a $100 super chat earlier. Thank you, brother. El Mase with a $12 super chat. Is NXT really doing a collab with TNA? Yes, they are. Maybe if Shawn Michaels says his name, he will appear. Someone believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Soldier for Truth. 199. Ironic. Adam got hurt diving off the edge of a cage. Yeah. That's certainly a way to describe it for sure. Scripps, thank you for the $5 super chat, brother. I read your chat earlier. Why is the IWGP title on AEW TV? I have no fucking clue. No idea. Brendan Watson with a $4.99. I don't know why they keep giving eliminator matches to people who keep losing. I miss the original days of AEW when everything made sense. Well, the people that Tony Khan had working underneath him saw what was happening and then bailed. Cody. Thank you, Brendan. Mid-Mo Smart. Jeremy, what's up, brother? $10 super chat. JD, what about the rankings, man? It's quite apparent TK wants us to forget them. That continuity is long gone. The way they're booking the matches at this point have nothing to do with them. No. You know, they're just... Tony Khan basically has a randomizer on his phone with the entire roster, and he basically makes matches with a randomizer. That's what he does. There's no logic or thought behind anything. Zero, is that Legend Onslaught? Because I played a regular Onslaught because I just wanted a chill, casual experience this afternoon. I had 80 tokens I cashed in. I got not one shiny. Mr. Team Bringer with a $4.99. Tonight, Christopher Daniels reminded me of Adam. Adam Pearce. Listen, man, I wouldn't mind if AEW got a authority figure on television every week. The Gary Sphere with a $5 super chat. Page costs Ospreay the world title so Hangman can win the tournament to try and take the belt off Swerve at Wembley. Ospreay versus Pac at Wembley, please. You may be very much fantasy booking there, Gary. I don't see Ospreay versus Pac or Page versus Swerve at the pay-per-view at Wembley. No, I think Wembley is Ospreay's crowning as the guy. I told you, Hologram. Destiny's no joke, man. Juan Castle with a $1.99. Swerve keeps getting swerved. Edge is a fool. Mr. Noob with a $5 super chat. I'm the last person to defend AEW credit, but there's no way Mercedes can do a story as a babyface against her secret attacker. She's incapable. Well, maybe it should have been Britt Baker. Maybe Britt should have been the one to attack. They could have easily made the story out of that. A great one, too. Give Britt some creative juices to get that story going. I think it would be a banger. Alex from Phoenix with a $5 super chat. Not liking how TK's doing things, holding a forbidden door just for the sake of having it. Feels like Vince McMahon with Hell in a Cell. OTS for life. Yeah, the gimmick has kind of run its course, for sure. Catch 22. You know what? It's funny that WWE's working with TNA. I think TNA would be a good candidate for a forbidden door, you know? Now that WWE's in bed with TNA, that takes them off of the list of companies Tony can work with, and he's stuck now having a tough time keeping the gimmick of the show fresh. Because I think TNA would be a great candidate to walk through the forbidden door. Not no more. Not if WWE's in bed with them. Kind of feels like WWE did it on purpose, to be quite honest with you. Catch 22 with a $50 super chat. No message. Thank you, Catch 22. Prince Petey with a $2 super chat. He says OTS till eternity. Sorry, I can't fucking read. 1 o'clock in the morning. OTS till eternity with a megaphone emoji. Thank you, brother. Mr. Team Bringer with a $1.99. John Cena U.S. Open Challenge is greater than the Cope Open. Yes. That John Cena run was tremendous. I would not be surprised if they do a TNA and NXT Worlds Collide show. Triple H won't do that on the main roster, but HBK, he'll let him do that. Absolutely. Mid-most smart, Jeremy with the 33 months. Thank you, brother. I like Ospreay and Swerve so far, but it does seem too soon. Very much look up to you and Jason as inspiration for my new show. Cheers to 33 months. Thank you, brother. Jason's not here, but I am going to speak for him and say he appreciates you, man. Thank you. Hey, Jackson with a $4.99. Does Swerve win at Forbidden? And do you think they'd run it back at Wembley? I was at the show. Great crowd. Have a great night, brother. I think we see Swerve win. Ospreay wins the tournament, the Owen, and gets his rematch at Wembley. That was the first thing that popped off my head. And Florida Boy D with a $4.99. What if we have Swerve beat Ospreay, then MJF at All In, and take the title to Wrestle Dream in his hometown to face Bryan Danielson? I like the way you think, man, but I ain't beating MJF this soon into his return. I don't know what they do with MJF, but I hope it makes sense, honestly. Anyway, guys, that's all I got. Thank you for the tremendous support tonight, man. You guys killed it. You guys killed it. We're about to get out of here. Great week of streams so far, man. You guys are awesome. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go and check out all the great content on the channel. TNT last night with the Solid Monster was unbelievable, man. 3 hours of audio content. Go and check that out. And please continue to hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys right back here tomorrow with more news right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.